Hello, welcome to another edition of Cooking with the Professor. I'm Professor M. I have some help from my partner Leo. I'm going to be making lemon marmalade tonight from lemons that I just picked off my tree in the backyard. I'm going to have to get them prepared, scrub them very well, make thin slices of peel, put them in a pot and cook them. I have some canning jars that I'm already sterilizing. I'll be back with you in a little bit to tell you how it's going. I scrubbed my lemons. While I was doing that, I looked for blemishes and problems with them. These I grow myself. They grow very big, as you can see. This is about the size of 4 normal lemons. So the 5 that I have here would be like buying a bag of 20 lemons at the grocery store. I don't put any spray, chemicals, anything on the plants at all. So they do sometimes get blemishes. Some of them are quite nice. Some of them are ratty. One like this, I'm going to peel this. I'm going to take the peel right off, use the lemon itself. This, I'm going to cut the peel into very small pieces. That will go into the marmalade itself while it's cooking. And that will give the tiny pieces of peel that one is familiar with in marmalade. This is going to take me a little time. I'll check back in with you soon. That is certainly zesting the lemon, and I don't know if you can see in the lighting, I can certainly see the lemon oil is spraying through the air as I cut through it, which makes the room smell delicious, but it means that lemon oil is not going into the lemon marmalade. You can see there how many seeds there are in this. So quite a bit more, as I said, than in a normal lemon. Now, what I'm doing right now is, because these lemons are so big, I'm essentially sectioning it the way you might a grapefruit. So that gets all the lemon pulp here into the marmalade without getting this tougher stuff between the sections, which in a normal lemon is smaller. So at this point, I've determined that the answer is there's no easy way to do this. So I think I'm going to cut out the seeds. I'll lose a little bit of the lemon juice as I do that, but it'll be a lot faster than trying to completely section it the way I was earlier and with the first lemon. That was a lot of lemons. Alright, I'm ready to start cooking now. After taking however long that was to prepare those lemons. I also have the lemon zest here. I have saved a bunch of lemon seeds. And the reason why I did this is because these can be used as a natural source of pectin for other jams and jellies. So you could put these in a little satchel or cheesecloth or even a tea strainer when you're making, say, raspberry or strawberry jam. Keep it in while it's cooking, take it out at the end so there are no seeds. Now this is going to need to cook for a while at a medium temperature. I'm going to add water to it and sugar. The recipe that I have calls for adding as much sugar as you add water, and to add water until you cover the fruit. So I think I'm going to need 3 or 4 cups of water in there, and then I will add 3 or 4 cups of sugar. That was 3 cups of water, so I will then add 3 cups of sugar to it. I like recipes and cooking with recipes that do things by ratios, because particularly when you're picking fresh fruits or vegetables for it, you don't know in advance how much you're going to get. So doing it by ratios is a good way to scale it up or down, and it's a lot easier to convert for metric and English measurements if you just have ratios. So same amount of water as sugar. I just discovered where my missing half-cup measure went. This is from strawberry jam that I made last weekend. I stopped a half cup short of what they said to add. It's a lot easier to add sugar later on if it's still tart than it is to take it out. I'll keep that on high and watch it constantly until it heats up, and then turn it down to simmer for probably an hour or 2. You've heard me talking about pectin. It's an important ingredient for all sorts of jams and jellies. It's found naturally in fruit, but most recipes these days call for adding store-bought pectin to a recipe. And that's in part because you can control more easily how much pectin is in there. It's a little more precise in going with what is naturally in the fruit. For myself, I prefer to make it based just on the pectin that is found in the fruit. So, what is pectin? Pectin is actually a polysaccharide. It's a long-chain carbohydrate, and take notes because there will be a test later. It's a long-chain carbohydrate that is a form of fiber. It's what gives the fruit its structure. It's found in peels, it's found in the sections in the fruit, it's found in the cell walls, it's found in the seeds. Different fruits have different amounts of pectin, which is why most recipes call for adding pectin. But a lot of times you can make a jam or jelly by adding lemon juice. And there are a couple reasons for this, and it's based on the chemistry. The pectin connecting together, long strands at the molecular level, will form the firmness that makes it a jelly rather than a juice. Lemon is one of the fruits with the most amount of naturally occurring pectin. And it's also acidic, and that helps in making other jams and jellies. See, the pectin, when you boil it like here, you put sugar in, which breaks down the cell walls. You boil it you put it in hot water for a while. It releases the pectin into the water. But the pectin molecules don't like each other. They like to stick to the water instead. So the sugar helps draw the water away, because the water will stick to sugar faster than it will stick to pectin. But the pectin still doesn't want to stick to itself if your mixture is not acidic enough. So adding lemon juice also makes it more acidic and makes the pectin want to bind together and form the structure that makes it a jam or a jelly. You also, at the same time that you're doing that, you're cooking it down, you're removing the water through evaporation, and that also helps concentrate everything that's left. The sugar is attracted more to the water, the pectin is left on its own and combines together. This is going to be going for a while now. I'll keep an eye on it. I'll try not to get distracted like I did with my orange marmalade, which got just a little bit overcooked. And I'll show you in a little bit how the jam comes out. Well, it's been cooking for a while, by an hour and a half. I strained out some of the bigger pieces of pulp, and you can see the kind of consistency it is. It's getting more like jam, and I just put the lemon zest in. I also added some more sugar because it's still bitter. Alright, this has been boiling for a little while. It's a nice rolling boil right now. I've added the lemon peel to it. It needs to boil down a little bit farther than it is right now. I have some additional jars that I'm sterilizing. When this gets ready to gel, I will be back with you and we'll start canning. Okay, I've increased the heat. I've got it on a really fast boil now. I'm going to do this until I think it's the right consistency so it will thicken into a jam. As it cools, I don't know if it'll be 5 minutes, 20 minutes. I'll just keep an eye on it, keep stirring while I'm doing that. This is now ready to start canning. It's the right consistency. You can see now. In fact, I'll need to work quickly so it doesn't start setting in the pan. I have some small jars, some large jars, and I'm going to split this in about half, or I'll do most of it in a couple jars at the end. I'm going to mix in some ginger. I have some dried ginger here. Ginger lemon marmalade is also very good. So I'm going to make a couple jars of that as well. If you're making this at home, and like I've said with other candy making, be very, very careful. This is not only hot, considerably hotter than boiling water, but it sticks to the skin, so you can't just brush it off the way if you pour boiling water on a hand. This will make really bad burns if you get it on you, so please be careful if you're doing any candy making at home. And what's left, as I said, I'm going to add ginger. This is dried ginger, so I'm going to mix it in pretty well. It should be hot enough that the flavor will permeate it. I don't think I really need to cook it with the ginger for any length of time. I'm about ready to can these. I have one tall jar. I'm going to keep this and just have it fresh. I'll put that in the refrigerator because you want to can jars that are all the same height at the same time. I'm going to start cleaning up all the sticky, messy stuff while that water is heating up. You also, when canning, you need to make sure there's nothing on the top edge, because that will break the seal or prevent the seal from ever forming. That took a while. I started just as it was getting dark, so I am going to enjoy a glass of my sister's homemade cranberry cordial while I'm waiting for the canning to finish. Thank you for keeping me company. That's going to sit in hot water for another 5 to 10 minutes. And when that's finished, I'll take it out let it start cooling. It should start sealing. In the morning I will check on it. The jars should all be sealed, except for the one that I didn't can, which I will put in the refrigerator as soon as it cools off a little bit more. Thanks for joining me on Cooking with the Professor. Hope you join me next time.